And hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is another episode of TeamB, Raw Results. I'll get into it in just 1 second. Bear with me. I'm reading some fan mail here. Just joking. We got my co-host popping in here in a second, so you join in progress. We are live, baby. Gotcha. You didn't miss much, Bill. Bill, once again, did not catch Raw, but he didn't miss much. You know, I'm trying to remember what the opening promo was. I remember Stephanie coming to the ring, and she got interrupted by Roman Reigns. They had it back and forth. You know, it was setting up the main event, which would be Roman Reigns versus Sheamus as Vince McMahon as the referee. We'll get into that in a little while here, but you know, it's strange seeing Vince McMahon, you know, on Raw. Leave me alone, Facebook. Okay. I am live, ladies and gentlemen. People on Facebook. And people on Facebook know I'm live because I post the stream here. Anyway, so yeah, you know, people are probably taking it for granted now, seeing Vince McMahon. Oh, wow, now I can see myself. Ooh, that's an ugly sight. You know, but I don't. It's like every time I see Vince on Raw every week, I'm like, it's almost like the first time in a way. I mean, he's been on there, you know, regularly here lately, but it's still, you know, there was, what, 2 or 3 years since Vince McMahon was on Raw, and it's been years since he was on Raw every episode like that, you know, back to back and so forth. So, you know, but that's the ratings drawer right there. You know what I'm saying? That's the one that's bringing in the rating. Ratings go down to bring in Vince. And Vince has tried to stay away from the main camera. You know, he's trying to stay away from the main show. He's trying to let the other guys take over because Vince ain't going to be here much longer. Or he just wants to step away from that. You know, I get that. His character's played out, you know. But, you know, desperate times call for desperate measures. And I totally understand that. But like I said last week, ladies and gentlemen, Monday Night Raw is a bleeding program, and they're not fixing it. They're just putting a Band-Aid on a bleeding product. They're just putting a Band-Aid on the motherfucker. They're putting a Band-Aid on it. You know, things like that. So, during Raw, we had the return of Chris Jericho. How many times is Chris Jericho going to return? It's cool. It's star power. I have nothing personally against it, but it don't do nothing for me. You know, I've seen Chris Jericho come and go throughout the years. And he's going to be in the Royal Rumble match. And he had a very good segment, back and forth segment with the New Day, you know, because they all got chemistry, and that was, you know, pretty funny to see them two go at it. And it's about they're keeping Kevin Owens looking strong. See, well, I ain't going to say I misspoke last week, but I didn't put as much thought into it. But now, you know, Kevin Owens getting upsetted in 20 seconds last week on Raw. What they're doing, they're making him into a vicious animal again. You know, that's why he beat the shit out of Neville. That's why he was beating his ass this week. He beat Neville clean on Raw, and I was so happy to see that. I remember when John Cena had the open challenge. It took him a while. It took him, what, 20 minutes to beat Neville? 20, 25 minutes? KO crushed Neville, man. That was awesome. Dean Ambrose has got a feud with Kevin Owens at the same time. Dean Ambrose was on commentary during the match. So Kevin Owens defeats Neville. Kevin Owens steps away from the ring. Then he turns around and starts attacking Neville again. Then Dean Ambrose jumps in, and him and Kevin Owens go at it. Dean Ambrose gets the upper hand, but that's because Kevin Owens just had a long-winded match. Plus, he's the heel. And he lays him on the announcer table, and Dean Ambrose drops a elbow on Kevin Owens and breaks through the table. So, very cool scene. I like Dean Ambrose. I'm more of a Kevin Owens fan, though, if I had to choose, but I do like Buzz. I just wish I like Dean Ambrose. I just wish he was more edgier, like Brian Pillman, kind of more batshit crazy, you know. But it's the PG era. For this era, you know, it's okay. So, I believe Ryback was on Raw. I'm not sure. me see. You know. Well, Titus O'Neil had a match with Stardust. Stardust was defeated. Titus won with the Clash of the Titus finishing maneuver. Oh, here's what I like. Becky Lynch, Charlotte had a match. And Ric Flair was at ringside. He was trying to distract Becky Lynch so Charlotte could get the cheap win like she did a few weeks ago. But this time it backfired, and Becky Lynch won the match with the roll-up. So that was very cool to see. You know, like I said, Ric Flair tried to interfere by grabbing her Becky Lynch's leg. Got the pin. Yeah, it was a non-title match. You know, sometimes I forget which one's the champion. Is it Paige or Charlotte? So it is Charlotte. You know, well, really, I get confused like who's the heel and who's the face. But it's pretty well established that Charlotte's the heel, as well she should be. She's got a nose like an upside-down penis. Ryback versus Big Show was a no contest, and it's completely wiped out my memory, you know. Now, the League of Nations, Rusev and my man Alberto Del Rio defeated the Usos. Del Rio pinned Jimmy Uso after a trio woe double stomp. You know, I said that stomp he does in the turnbuckle was pretty cool. I like Del Rio. It's just he seems like all the charisma and energy was just sucked out of him. Like he was hit with a charisma back because Alberto Al Patron and Lucha Underground was very cool. I like Alberto. I like his look. I just wish I had a body like that. You know what I'm saying? He's got that classical professional wrestler look to him. He's from Mexico. He's got a good heritage there. I'm not Mexican, but I respect the wrestling heritage of Mexico. So he's got all that stuff. And he just seems so stale in WWE, man. It sucks, you know. When he came back at, I think it not TLC, but a couple pay-per-views back, and he kicked John Cena, that was awesome. You know, he had some momentum, and then he just got back stale. The League of Urination, man. I like most of the people in the League of Urination, Job Squad 2.0. I like most of them guys. Wade Barrett. You know, I've pretty much given up on Wade Barrett, but, man, there was just something there. It's just missing. I don't know what it is. And Del Rio's the same way. Now, I don't think it's their fault, man. It's got something to do with either the times that we live in and the perceptions and fan reactions, or it's just the writing, the booking. I don't get it. You know, they did have something with Bad News Barrett. You remember that was catching on. Hey, we got some bad news. Everybody said it was catching on everything. And it stopped. He became King Barrett. Not King Bad News, but King Barrett. And but he's still the King of Bad News, but you want to call him King Barrett, obviously. You know, as for a wrestling name. But he had something going there. And he had something going in the Nexus. We all know that. So yeah, League of Nations, it was Rusev and Del Rio. Tag team defeated the Usos. Heath Slater defeated Dolph Ziggler. Very funny. Yes, you've heard that correctly. Slater is now part of a team called the Social Outcast, alongside Adam Rose, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel. Curtis Axel's finally back on TV. That could have something to do with the half of the roster being on the other side of the – wait a minute, that was a live show taping. That was last week. Okay, I don't know. I get them mixed up. Raw is just so interesting nowadays.
Boo.
Yeah, boo. But yeah, so Curtis Axel's back on TV. Curtis, Adam Rose, Bo Dallas have a new faction called the Social Outcast. It wasn't even on Hulu. That was not on Hulu, man. I missed that. They cut that out of Hulu.
Wouldn't you? Who wants time to see Slater in the ring? It really does.
Sandow, man. Damian Sandow.
That's the 3-man band, baby.
Oh, man, he's terrible. That's what I'm reading right there, man. Just quick results, you know, because I watched it. I just need reminders.
Right.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah.
That's sad though, man. That they have to be called social outcasts so they can actually get some exposure. That's terrible.
Right. After the epic promo between Jericho and the New Day, later in the night, the New Day had a match with the Dudley Boys. The New Day 3-on-3 tag against the Dudleys and Kalisto, and the New Day won the match after a midnight hour on Devon Dudley. It's one of their finishers. That was a pretty good match, actually. A big fan of the New Day. Always liked the Dudleys and Kalisto, Rey Mysterio Jr. Pretty funny stuff.
It's sad, man. No, make him Junior. His name is Junior.
Oh,
Booyaka, booyaka.
hey, and I stole Don Tony's joke. I said Charlotte has a nose like an upside down penis.
Dude, that is
sorry,
true.
Don Tony. Sorry, DT, you Matserats. This my house, no. This my house, no.
Oh
yeah.
God, the beautiful people said that. They said on TNA. They said the other night their promo. They're like, "You think this is your house? This is the beautiful people's house." I was like, "Oh, trying to cross over on Page now. Better be careful."
Oh wait, did you watch TNA on
Yeah.
Pop TV? Oh, how was it?
It was. If you try to look at it, I try looking at it from a fresh perspective. It was decent. I don't like the way they do things because they'll have a live show like the other night was live, Wednesday night, last night was live show. That's great, but they'll do 2 days and film 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes in those 2 days, and really to me, it just dampers the quality. It wasn't bad. Oh, right. Karen Terrell left the dollhouse. She left. She was the blonde. Well, what happened was she found God. She became a Christian, and she just left TNA.
Oh, wow. So
now they got Brittany something, which call her Rebel. She was in that menagerie. You know, the menagerie that was there. She's with them now. She's the leader of the dollhouse now. Angelina Love is pregnant, so she can't fight. So now it's Taylor Madison Rain and my girl Velvet Sky that are fighting as together now. But EC3 won the title from Matt Hardy. They had the finals of the series. They had the semifinals on the live pay-per-view, the live show. Right. It was Bobby Lashley versus EC3, and it was Matt Hardy versus Eric Young. And then in the finals, it was EC3 versus Matt Hardy, which, if you remember, when they were on Destination America, that was the finals that was the championship match there. And, you know, Matt Hardy won that.
Gave up the title, then they had the tournament. Yeah.
Exactly. So this time, EC3 won the title. James Storm, you remember reading about James Storm a while back, went to NXT. He's back in TNA now.
He's gonna be in church next.
Well, he said he earned. He said the money. They said that the money he was going to get paid under WWE offered under $100,000 a year, and TNA was offering $250,000 for 2 years. So that's like $25,000 more to stay with them. So he re-signed him, and Bobby Roode like they're going to form Beer Money again, which is awesome to me because I love Beer Money. And
they were cool. Yeah, that was a good tag team.
And he was explaining like, well, I've been around wrestling and watching wrestling the last few months, and I didn't like where I was going because his character on TNA before they went off, he was the leader of Renegades and stuff, and it was just stupid, you know. So he said he's going to come back and drink a little beer, have some fun, and make some money. So he gave Bobby Roode a beer, and they said they were going to be Beer Money. So they get that tag team back. That'll be good. So as you see, it was, and Jeff Hardy even made an appearance. He was in Matt's corner both matches Matt was in for the title and stuff. But Awesome Kong, she made her appearance back and helped squash Gail Kim, because Gail Kim came out there with the beautiful people to make it a 3-on-3, and she went out there. Yeah. And Awesome Kong came out there and just squashed Gail Kim to end their match, but it was decent. If you watch it from like trying to get a fresh perspective of it, it's not so bad. But if you're like, this is the same shit I'm watching as I did last time, it's just, dude, it's not any good. It's not any good from looking from that perspective. You have to say, okay, I'm gonna start fresh. The good one thing I did like too is they moved. You remember how they were in that separate room, with Destination America?
Yeah, commentators.
Right. They're now back at ringside now, which I said that's good.
Yeah.
Because it looked like they were in a separate room calling something that was so far from, like, they were in one studio and then which they were literally calling matches in another, and from the TV monitor it was in front of them. But
that was some WWF superstar shit from the 90s.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember they doing that. But that's what it was. It wasn't they moved him back out the ring, and I'm like, thank God they did that. But there's some, and oh my God, Michael Bennett that used to be with in Ring of Honor. Remember Maria, the hot one,
Yeah,
nice, but they're on they come to TNA now. He's called the Miracle. They're the Miracle, Michael Bennett.
Yeah,
but he's not. Don't worry. Remember I was speaking about Bo Dallas when about that the other night. He's not like Bo Dallas. It's not like you gotta believe. He don't want to do that. So
that's terrible.
It looks like it's pretty decent though.
Yeah, I watched last time I watched TNA was when they were in the old Raw Center. What was it? The Manhattan Center in New York, where they had them live shows, and that was the last time. Those were pretty good. TNA's like hit or miss for me. I'll try to keep up with it. I watched some of their pay-per-views on YouTube, which was kind of funny. But I keep up with it from time to time, and then I get kind of frustrated with it or whatever. But it's like they always hitting the reset button, But you never know. Pop TV, this could be their thing. So we'll see what happens with that. But did it show the TV guide under the show?
No, because it was like I was before, when it was the regular SD channel. That's the channel that showed the TV guide underneath it. The regular HD channel now, high definition channel they show, is just a regular channel. So it's not.
Well, see, I didn't know that because I got Pop TV at my workplace, and they got the SD version. And every time I turn it there, they got the TV guide. I'm like, oh wow, TNA's gonna be on there with a TV guide under it. So.
But it wasn't too bad. I'll try to give a TNA report from time to time. I'll try to watch it just for that.
TNA, the action, the wrestling's pretty good in TNA. I actually enjoy it more so than Raw half the time. But let me switch back to Raw because we get to the final segment here. The main event, Roman Reigns defending this title against Sheamus as Vince McMahon was a special guest referee. And actually, this match was surprisingly good. There was a lot of action and spots in it. What it was is, they were doing the thing where Roman Reigns would have Sheamus beat, and Vince would act like he didn't would count slow, or he act like he had something in his eye and stuff like that. And then Roman Reigns just straight up Superman punched Vince. I'm like, oh shit. And then Stephanie came running out there, the tits bouncing like that, and he pulled her over the ropes, and she fell on her backside, and Vince was about knocked out, and Sheamus Sheamus did his broad kick, and Vince acted like he couldn't. There was some kind of botch here because Sheamus did the broad kick, the most protected finisher in the business, and then Vince is taking his time to crawl over to count for Sheamus. He wanted Sheamus to win. Okay. It's like he was waiting on something. And then the commentators finally said, "Oh, Vince is too dazed to make a count, a 3 count." And then another referee ran to the ring, and then by that time Roman Reigns was able to kick out. But what should have happened was Vince should have got up and just rang the bell, disqualification, because Roman Reigns attacked a referee in Vince, and that's what I thought was going to happen. Then let me see. So Roman Reigns kicked out. They had another back and forth, and eventually Sheamus got the pin because I think he speared Vince McMahon, or he Superman punched him again. And then another ref ran out there, and he finally got the pinfall on Sheamus to close the show. And then Vince got on the microphone He said, all right, Sheamus. He said, all right, Roman Reigns, you're going to have to defend your title at the Royal Rumble against 29 other superstars. So basically, the Royal Rumble match is going to be for the WWE title. Roman's still the champion. Look at it this way. Roman Reigns goes into the Rumble match number 1, I guess, and then he's got to defend his title against 29 other guys. But I believe they announced Brock Lesnar. He's going to be in the Rumble match too. Yep. So I don't know. I'm thinking Roman's going to keep his title, or Brock will keep it. Then Roman will say, well, I never lost the title one-on-one. I want a rematch. You know, he'll lose it in the Rumble match, and then he'll say, well, I never lost it one-on-one. That's how he'll get his rematch. And he can set up WrestleMania that way, I suppose. You know. Mm-hmm. But Raw was kind of – it worked. The opening was okay and the ending was okay. And the New Day segments were good. The main event surprised me. You know, it had a lot of action and stuff like that in it. And I was just laughing at, you know, Vince McMahon being his timing was off there a little bit. And, you know, that's about it. It was entertaining, though, the main event was. I can't imagine sitting through 3 hours of it. But,
yeah, I heard
Lulu, okay. Jericho coming back, like I said, that's not. That's just the same old shit to me. I'm not a big Jericho fan. I got nothing against him. He just don't do nothing for me. But that promo, back and forth promo he had with the New Day was pretty hilarious. You know, as you can imagine. So that was pretty good. And Jericho said he's going to join the Royal Rumble and headline WrestleMania again. You know. Yeah, it's just bullshit, man. But they made Kevin Owens look real strong tonight, other than him being put through a table by Ambrose. But he beat the shit out of Neville again. Clean now. He got a clean victory over Neville this week. So that was very, very enjoyable to watch. But, you know, they're just heating up the feud with him and Ambrose and KO. They're heating up that feud. So that's the feud I'm interested in. I don't give a fuck about, you know, Roman Reigns right now. I like Roman Reigns, but, you know, it just ain't nothing happening right now. And the Rumble sounds like it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be like the 1992 Royal Rumble where the title's on the line. So that's cool, man. So Cena could walk out with it, Brock or Roman, you know. I'm thinking Brock might take it. Then, well, I don't know, dude. Roman could possibly keep it. That way it make him a strong baby face. Like, hey, you know, I defended my title in the Rumble and I still got the title. Now what? You know, then Triple H could cost him. Triple H could get Roman Reigns eliminated out of the Rumble, which will set up a feud there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say myself. I was about to say that they were talking about that as a possibility. But then what you're sitting there again making Roman screwed out of the title yet again, having to chase the title yet again. That's the only thing about it, man, is them doing that. You know, to me, it's just. I mean, I think it's cool and whatnot that Roman's getting that push and stuff, and like you said, getting him back in at number at you know, being in the Rumble. I think that's a good idea because that's the first time that's ever happened that they've had the champion. Now, you know, they've had it once before, but that was when the title was vacated. You know, earlier on in past shows, but this time it was or past Royal Rumbles. But I think, you know, I'm like you though. How tough is it? How bad is it that you sit there and you think the IC title matchup and feud is better than the actual world title matchup?
It usually is these past couple of years. Seems
very
like
sad, man, with Sheamus. You know, I mean, it's sad that he's that badly in it. You know, I mean, nobody really likes him so much.
I don't care for Sheamus, dude. He just makes you want to change the channel. I wasn't a fan of him when he was a babyface on SmackDown, and it seemed like he had more momentum back then. He's more irrelevant now than he's ever been.
And that's true, man.
I was talking about like the League of Nations. You know, a lot of them guys in the League of Nations, I don't really have a problem with. I don't know if it's their fault, the fans, or just the writing or the era we live in or something. Like, well, Wade Barrett and Alberto Del Rio, because they're all talented and, you know, and things like that, but they're just not clicking.
Right.
You know? Sheamus has got the look. He's a big guy. He's a tall guy.
Right.
He's got a good finisher, but he's not connecting with the crowd. He don't have a manager. He's in a faction that nobody cares about. I mean, I don't get it, you know.
Because this is what you just said, bud. Everybody is fed up. Their characters have all played out. They've tried so many different gimmicks that they're not working, and nobody cares about them anymore. Why would you care about someone who's had 20 different gimmicks and none of them work, or they've become irrelevant now? The whole
but is it their fault for the gimmick?
No, not at all.
Or is it the writing?
It's the writers. It's the characters.
That's what I'm thinking, man. Because wrestling's just going down, and people just don't care about wrestling no more because they don't have the magic no more. I mean, I think they could have done something with Wade Barrett and all that.
Yeah, that's true. But till you have to look at Wade Barrett's situation, he kept getting hurt. Every time he was in line for a push for a title, he kept getting hurt.
That's true.
You know,
that's true. They had something with the Bad News Barrett thing. Because the people got behind that. Then he became King Barrett, and ever since then,
that's why
it's been downhill. You know?
Vince killed it. Vince did not want him people getting behind him. That's why he stopped the Bad News.
That's so stupid for business, though.
Yeah, but that's Vince's.
You want somebody to get over? Come on, man. You need people to get over.
Yeah, but that's Vince, dude, for you. Vince thinks, well, the fans are cheering. Let's not do this. You know. Come on. I mean, if the fans are cheering, let them do it. I mean, the fans are going to dictate it anyway.
Right.
You know, they're going to tell you anyway what it's going to be, and you're just going to like it. I mean, that's just the way Vince is going to have to realize it. So,
yeah, they don't listen anymore. Back in the Attitude Era, they seemed like they would listen more so. You know, like when Austin did that heel turn in 2001. And then they turned him back babyface because they realized it just wasn't working. Seems like they just listen to the fans more back. Well, we don't have WCW around anymore for one thing.
Well, they did that with Goldberg.
They don't listen to the fans. They listen to the fans with Mick Foley as a champion and stuff like that. Even though he was kind of a transitional champion, but yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, they did Goldberg the same way. In WCW, they tried to turn Goldberg heel.
Yeah.
It didn't work. It did not work at all. It was a failed, miserable attempt at trying to cause a shakeup with them. That's where they messed up at, was trying to make Goldberg a heel with that whole bad blood, new transition with Hogan. I watched a shoot interview with Kevin Sullivan yesterday, or was it was day 4 yesterday, excuse me. And he was talking about when he booked, because, you know, 99, 2000, 2001, when they finally ended up, you know, selling, Kevin Sullivan was talking like he could have got the booking, but then it's like when you had that whole, you know, he said he told Brad Siegel, which is the guy that sold WCW. Did you know Eric Bischoff had a group together to buy WCW for $40 million? Yeah. Brad Siegel said no.
Right, yeah, he wouldn't sell it. I heard about that.
But then a year later, he sold it to Vince for a whopping $4 million because he wanted. Right. Yeah, I mean, what even kind of business is that for you to go and sell a company for 10 times less than what you could have got for? Because Bischoff could have got it on a different TV channel. It's just Brad Siegel's acting like an asshole and didn't let Bischoff and his group buy it.
Right, I remember hearing about that. Bischoff was on JR's podcast as well as Kevin Sullivan talking about that. I heard that somewhere before too. Yeah, because and DDP's always talking about that as well. You know, because all they had to do was just find another network to go to, but they didn't have time to do it. You know, because of what you were just talking about, and things didn't work out. Then Vince took it up. That's a shame, too, because Nitro was still doing pretty good in the ratings. 3.5 ratings, man, or whatever it was. That's good. You know, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's even better than what they do, today's ratings, and that's 15 years later.
And WCW was just going through a down period. They could have, like WWF was, and they could have just picked themselves back up eventually. You know, in the 90s, WWF was, getting way low in the ratings, and they had their down period. You know, that was WCW's down period. They never had a chance to come back up. You know,
to me, buddy, I feel like Raw is going through what Nitro did at the end. Creative is bad.
It seems like it, dude. It's crazy.
It is creative.
And you would never think that back in the day. Like the high and mighty Vince would never let his show become such a embarrassment to watch some weeks like that. Mm-hmm. But that's why he's on TV every week now, Vince. You know, as a regular now. It's crazy seeing him on there like that. But like I said earlier, man, they're just putting a Band-Aid on a bleeding product. They're not really fixing long-term problems and making solutions. They're just temporary things. But WrestleMania is coming up, so they're probably going all out. Then we're going to have a down season, and that's unfortunate, man, because, you know, the key word with wrestling is exciting. People love it when it's exciting, you know. Exactly. And I wish there was more to look forward to at WrestleMania than a Rock promo from The Rock, you know. Mm-hmm. But when I was doing the my WrestleMania memory video, I was talking about that. I said wrestling was always good when it was exciting, when it had that exciting moment to it, you know.
Right.
And Vince getting arrested last week, I guess that was an exciting moment. Vince botching moves and as a referee was kind of funny, and you know, just little exciting things like that, you know, is what they need to focus on. So.
Yeah, but dude, it's like you know, with them, I just felt like they could have done a lot more, but it's like you said, they simply just they've lost that nostalgia. I mean, Vince is having to go on there, do stuff he did 10, 20 years ago, get arrested like he did.
Right.
I mean, it's a sad thing because, dude, he's got to put some butts in the seats for that, you know, for that basically that whole situation. WrestleMania is just around the corner. It ain't like 2 or 3 months away. He better get some interesting storylines because, you know, people are buying WrestleMania tickets right now just because it's WrestleMania, not because of the product. I don't feel, well, and maybe you feel differently, but
no, I agree with you. The WrestleMania sells itself as well as the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. That sells itself too because people want to see the Rumble match. But, I agree with that.
But they need to get some more excitement for those fans that aren't typical WrestleMania goers to buy in because they're trying to sell out that $100,000 seat stadium in Dallas. Man, that's a lot of people. I mean, you remember the Silver Dome? I mean, that 70-some thousand people with that one. That was 70,000. This is 100,000.
That was supposedly 93,000, but that wasn't the correct attendance. 93,000 WrestleMania 3.
Was that what it was? 93?
Yeah, but Vince got interviewed later, and he said the true attendance was, like you said, 70-some thousand, and he said the reason they said 93,000 was part of the entertainment, you know. So they always exaggerate the number. But yeah, but that was the biggest WrestleMania attendance, though, as far as I know.
Yeah, well, that was the whole football stadium. It's probably why, because it wasn't like now. Because now but it was Hogan and Andre, dude. People wanted to see that. People were excited for it. Yeah, but they didn't have them big ass stadium, them big ass sets and stuff like they do now. Now you got half the stage. They have to block out a certain amount of seats because you have somewhere to put the stage at. Back then, if you look at old WrestleMania 1, 2, and 3, it looks like one box in the middle of everybody. You know, that's the ring, which was the ring.
Right.
That was it. But now you got these big sets and everything that take up room. And by doing that,
you're doing like these stadiums and domes now. Mm-hmm. Give it like a bigger feel to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
other than that, there's not much going on in wrestling this week, unless there's any news that you've heard of in the wrestling world.
No, just the fact that
WWE signed AJ Styles.
Yeah, I saw that.
And a couple other New Japan talent. New Japan Pro Wrestling talent, along with AJ Styles, and that's cool. You know?
Yeah, but AJ, man, AJ is so much older. They need AJ. Oh, did you hear the new breaking news that John Cena suffered a shoulder injury?
Oh, you just making a joke, Bill.
No, John Cena suffers so. This is on WWE.com. The headline. WWE News. John Cena suffers shoulder injury, out 6 to 9 months.
Bullshit. Really?
Yeah, I'm looking on it. Former WWE champion John Cena recently suffered a rotator cuff injury and will have to undergo surgery to repair it. And it's even on his Twitter. This will keep Johnson, and this is what it says. This will keep Cena out for 6 to 9 months. He was expected to be a major part of WrestleMania 32, which is being held at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. And John Cena says this on his Twitter. Rather upside down start to 2016 as tomorrow, I will head to Birmingham for shoulder surgery. Life's full of setbacks, but hashtag never give up.
So that's why he wasn't on Raw Monday.
Yep, that's what it said.
Yeah, I didn't see him on Raw. That's true. Well, I shouldn't laugh at that. Oh, they're fucked now, dude.
Yeah.
They are fucked now.
Nobody.
They are fucked now, man. I don't wish injury on nobody, but 6 months without Cena, shit.
Dude, six. What was it? Randy Orton? Weren't Randy Orton 6 to 9 months too?
Yep.
Seth Rollins 6 to 9 months too?
Yep, and all three of them's going to miss WrestleMania, it looks like.
6 to 9 months, dude. All three of those guys. Can you imagine? They're going to have to bring some of these NXT guys up. Or sound like you said, push AJ Styles and Samoa Joe on up. Go ahead and push them to the main roster. Go ahead and let them go into the main roster instead of NXT so that they can fill in some room. Because with Cena out, with Rollins out, with Orton out, then you're gonna have a lot of your main cut right there out.
Brock Lesnar's Vince is gonna call up Brock and be like, "Hey, you want to make some extra money?"
Yeah, exactly.
Damn. Kurt Angle, man. Kurt Angle might come back. That's a possibility. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. Bring in Kurt Angle, man. I'm telling you. Kurt Angle. Undertaker's going to have a match against who?
Right,
because he's gone, so it ain't special no more. He should have a retirement match like Flair did.
Well, Cena was supposed to fight him, dude. Cena was supposed to fight to be Undertaker at WrestleMania. Yeah,
I heard about that. Yeah, that don't interest me unless there's some kind of hook to it. Taker could be like, if I lose again, I will retire, like Flair did. That would make it more interesting. Give it a little twist there. Wow.
Yeah, so that was just breaking. That's what happened. I was like, wow.
So WrestleMania is going to be WrestleMania 32 / NXT Revolution. They might as well just have an NXT show there. Wow.
Dad, did you see Raw's rating, man?
I was going to ask you, it's time for Bill Mack's Raw rating of the week. Hit me with it, bro.
Bill Mack. This is Bill Mack here with your Raw rating for the week. Monday's episode of WWE Raw scored a whopping 2.49 rating, which is up from a bit from the whopping 2.47 from last week's episode.
True, that's low.
The show drew 3.575 million viewers, which is up from last week's 3.536 million viewers. The first hour did 3.7, while the second half did 3.516, and the final hour did a 3.503. So look at this has been your Bill Mack's Raw rating for this week.
Awesome.
Oh, it is music behind that. It's so funny, like dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. This is in your Raw report.
Yeah, we need Solid Monster to come on here one day. He probably would, man. If we asked him, if we paid him, he would. If we paid him, he would. Yeah.
Oh, DP sounded horrible the other day, man.
He did, man. That was terrible. He tells the same stories over and over. Every DDP interview is exactly the same, dude. About Hulk Hogan and the curtain, behind the curtain. Oh, we're gonna draw money, brother, in a few years, and the Dusty Rhodes story, and same old stuff. But that's what happened. He's just telling how it happened. But it's the same story every time. You know, I got injured, then I got into yoga. It's exactly the same. But that's cool though. You know, I like DDP obviously, but you know, he's always giving the same story. But nobody hits him with the question. What the fuck was up with the Jake the Snake Twitter video a couple of weeks ago? Nobody will ask about that. That's going to be some bad press right there for Jake's documentary that's currently out. So that's probably why they're not talking about it. DDP said, well, Solid Monster, I'll be on your show, but don't bring up Jake the Snake in that Twitter video because we're trying to advertise his Resurrection documentary. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They agreed not to talk about it beforehand. Had to, because that'd been the first thing I asked him. What the hell's wrong with Jake, man? What the hell's he doing?
I know, man. I feel so bad that because he has tried to help him so much, man.
Right.
I just don't know. It's like took his teeth out and gum it.
Oh, get somebody a gum job, man.
Dude, that was so horrible, man. That really was. I couldn't believe he done that video. I'm like, is he trying to cut a promo? Was he trying to cut a promo for a future wrestling match or something? I mean, why would he be talking about Bray Wyatt like that?
I don't know. I didn't even watch it, dude, but I heard all about it from Wrestling Soup and everybody else talk about it. So it's like, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I listened to DP.
I've heard about it, you know. I listened
to DT the other Monday night. He was talking about how when you were talking about how bad the botch was with Vince, he was telling Kevin Castle like that was the worst botch episode of anything that he has ever seen.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was the worst, but because I listened to DT before I watched Raw, and I was looking for that, what DT was talking about.
Right.
And it was odd, you know, because Sheamus had Roman Reigns defeated, and Vince would not make the 3 count when he was supposed to. He was stalling and stalling, waiting for another ref to come out there because all through the match, Vince was trying to do a quick count for Sheamus to win. And then when Sheamus had Roman beat, suddenly he couldn't count, you know, because the truth is Roman Reigns was supposed to win that match, and he did, you know. So they kind of messed up there, you know. So
that's horrible to sit there and have to watch that stuff.
Sheamus was like, I got him beat. Count, Vince, I got him beat. And Vince got up like he was fully alert. And then suddenly he went, oh, I can't count, you know. He was just stalling. Then the other ref came out there, and eventually Roman Reigns did the Superman punch and defeated Sheamus. It's just the way the story was planned out, you know. But if that was reality, Vince would have went ahead and counted, you know. It's just kind of fucked up how that happened. But Vince is old, man. He does the best he can. He botched back in the 90s when he did stuff like that. With Stone Cold, he would botch back then. Mm-hmm. You know, he ain't no wrestlers. Austin has been quoted as saying that Vince is the worst wrestler, seller in the world. You know, stuff like that. Oh. No seller, you know. Yeah.
Oh, I seen that tonight, dude. I was watching from TNA. I'll tell you who done a bad selling job tonight, and that's Matt Hardy, man. Matt Hardy, EC3 went to do like it's kind of like a F5, but he didn't spin him around. It was kind of like a front-faced RKO. And he was supposed to have pinned Hardy when he put him on it, but Hardy jumped right back up, and he ended up having to do the same move again to make sure he stayed down because Hardy jumped right up. I'm like, hell, he didn't even sell that move.
You talking about the twist of fate?
No, it wasn't a twist of fate. This was EC3 doing it on Hardy.
Oh, okay, I got you.
He was doing his move on him, and it kind of looks like he's got him up like a F5, but it looks like a frontwards RKO. Instead of being behind him and turning around the other way, he's facing him when he does it. But instead of selling it and laying down there like he was hurt, because he was hurt, he was supposed to be hurt from the match before. He got right back up, and the guys were like, "It must have stunned Matt Hardy too good." And then he had to end up doing the same move again. I'm like, "Well, there you go." But that's all I'm saying, man, about botching moves and stuff. They got to do. These wrestlers got to do a better job.
Yeah, definitely.
3-man band.
Well, but I think we reached the end of the show, man. I'm kind of tired, man. Not much going on this week in the wrestling news, but I appreciate you taking the time to pop up in here. I know you had a busy week.
Well,
and
anytime,
everyone out there in YouTube land for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you want to. Much appreciated. And we thank you again for watching.
That's right. Peace out.
Peace.